The greatest thing this country ever did was create the First Amendment. Nearly everything that is great about America is written in those few sparse sentences. And the most important part of the First Amendment are those words that guarantee each of us the freedom to worship as we see fit. The idea is so simple. They're music. More than that, they're the backbone of our republic. Please listen to the words. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. These words are very simple, yet so very complex in practice. 12 years ago, we got this right. Those of you who were serving here, 12 years ago, the legislature, we stood here as a legislature and said the U.S. Supreme Court was wrong. As Mr. Hochberg said last night, in 1999, we passed the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which reestablished that if government substantially burdens your practices of religion, that is not acceptable unless there is a compelling state interest. That is the law today, and it works for everyone. It holds our freedom to worship as the highest possible right, subordinate only to a threat to the safety of our state. Yet here we are today to try to abolish any governmental policy that incidentally affects your religious practice. In 2007, I was lucky enough to get to carry House Bill 1083, which made it a criminal offense for someone to protest a funeral within 1,000 feet of a cemetery. Just 2 weeks ago, we passed out of this House House Bill 718, which said you could not protest a funeral within 3 hours of the funeral or 3 hours afterward. As we all know, there's a religious group, the Westboro Baptist Church, that protests the funerals of our soldiers because of their religious beliefs. If this joint resolution were to pass and we change our standard, then doesn't that empower Westboro Baptists or anyone else to challenge this law and put them back into the cemeteries protesting military funerals? This bill raises more questions than it answers. Does the health department allowing a restaurant to keep its dairy products in the same refrigerator as its meat products incidentally affect the kosher waitress' right of religious practice? Yes, it does. Does the disallowance of carrying a blade of a certain length impinge on the practice of the sheik, who is required to carry a ceremonial blade at all times? Yes, it does. Does giving time and a half to a government employee to work on Saturday harm the rights of a Seventh-day Adventist? Yes. And if the bill passes, it will harm their rights even if they don't work on Saturdays and never intend to. Does state-sanctioned alcohol use, gambling, smoke incidentally affect the free exercise of some Baptists? It might, and I bet that someone will sue. Every time we intervene, we increase the likelihood that we make a bad call and set a foolish precedent that will weaken our rights, not strengthen them. Every time we make a change, we put our fate in the hands of unelected federal judges beholden to no one. The more we touch this, the worse it will be for Texans of all faiths. So let's leave it alone. I can tell you that every faith in Texas is strong enough to withstand incidental impairment. But what they cannot stand is the kind of uncertainty that could come from an activist judge empowered to make a call because we decided to get too cute with our laws. I believe in four things in this life: God, Texas, our Constitution, and football. I will not pit one against the other because no matter what happens, we all lose. Members, what will happen is the law that was passed 10 years ago has been litigated all the way through 12 years ago. What this will do, if it passes, it will start that litigation all over again. I urge you to vote no on this bill. Thank you.